right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end, McDonald down the line, left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben, all the way back to the 2, to the 1, and the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it. Calling signals, takes the snap, gives it, Chubb runs, dips his shoulders, he's to the 40, 35, he's to the 30, cut back 25, he's to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Nick Chubb, he's over 1,000, and the Browns lead 6-0. James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end, McDonald down the line, left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben, all the way back to the 2, to the 1, and the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it. Calling signals, takes the snap, gives it, Chubb runs, dips his shoulders, he's to the 40, 35, he's to the 30, cut back 25, he's to the 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Nick Chubb, he's over 1,000, and the Browns lead 6-0. James Conner in the backfield on the right side of Big Ben. Motion by the tight end, McDonald down the line, left to right. And the snap goes high over the head of Big Ben, all the way back to the 2, to the 1, and the Browns have it in the end zone. And they dive on the ball and recover it for a touchdown. Carl Joseph's got it in the end zone. A touchdown.
Not a bad start.
6-0 Browns. Marquise Pouncey just sailed the ball over the head of Big Ben, who looked at James Conner. They raced back towards inside the 5-yard line. It went into the end zone. B.J. Goodson and Carl Joseph were over there, and Joseph recovers it.
All right, we are live. We are good to go. Everything is running great. Okay, yep, let's go. All right, guys, so welcome to Load the Box Browns. I am Chris Paxitas. That's Eric Mienko. And remember, we are brought to you by Unified Athletic Wear. Please go to unifiedathleticwear.com for any and all athletic wear needs. So, like I said this before, but they're sponsoring a NASCAR Xfinity Series car. And they were down at Daytona over the weekend, so that's pretty freaking cool to say the least. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I obviously I know the guys who run that, and to show where they were to where they are now is kind of crazy, but that's great. Anyway, this is Load the Box Browns. Got a lot to talk about today. We got the 53-man roster to talk about, some notable cuts, some notable free agents that are still out there, and as well as a few comments from some notable people. And then maybe if we have time, maybe we will look at a peek into week 1. So, but before we do that, Mienko, how was your week this week?
It was good. This weekend went and helped my dad, got him a new computer. Got to my first experience with Windows 11, which was interesting. It's not a whole lot different, as everyone knows. I mean, it's just gonna be face, but yeah, it was kind of cool to just to see how the technology has changed. But other than that, not a whole lot. Got my fantasy draft this Sunday, so looking forward to that.
There you go. Good for you. So it sounds like just a normal little week, nothing crazy, just
normal little week.
There you go. For me, so I had an all right week. I had a little, not going to get into details. I had a little health scare Sunday morning, but I'm good. Everything's good. And that's all. We'll get into that. But I did learn something last Thursday. So last Thursday, I think I told you guys this, that we were going to find out the sex of our baby on Wednesday's show. I brought it up. And then we found out on Thursday, and let's do a drum roll. I'm having a boy.
Heck yeah. Welcome to the Boy Dad Club.
I am having a boy. So I am I'm happy. Number one, I'm happy that the baby's healthy. That's all I want. I want a happy and healthy baby. I don't care what gender it is. I don't care as long as it's happy and healthy. But
absolutely,
I am happy that I have both.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because I didn't want people to think, oh, just a normal guy wants a boy. And it's like, yeah, obviously I did want a boy, but you know what? I also have a girl, and I wouldn't trade her for anything.
Right.
I'm so glad I had her first. And now that I've got the girl, I want the boy, and we're good to go. We got both. So I will go ahead and say his name. I think his name is Maximus Theodore Paxitas.
Strong name.
Very strong.
Maximus. We gonna call him Max?
Yep. Max for short, or Maximus when he done started some shit.
Maximus Theodore.
Yep. Oh, I get Lila Rain all the time. She'll do something a bit. Lila Rain. She jumps real quick. But yeah, so Lila and Max, those are my kids. Ooh, kids. That's can't hear you. Technical difficulties.
I will tell you
There
that
you go.
as Noah by himself wasn't too bad. The
Yep.
moment you add that second one, it is a world of difference.
Yep.
Thankfully for you, Lila's a little bit older. So you kind of have down her routine.
Yep.
Things that she likes, things she doesn't like. You have pets, so she's never been the only star of the show. So she can kind of understand what it's like to not have your guys' undivided attention at all times.
Yeah.
Now, it will be a complete flip for her when she goes, "Mommy, Daddy, do you want to play with me?" And you go, "I've been up for 3 days straight and I need a rest." Or when she looks at you and she goes, "Mommy, can you give me something to drink?" And Kelly's, whether she's going to breastfeed or bottle feed, she's got the baby feed, and then all of a sudden you're not there or whatever, and she goes, "You're gonna have to wait a minute."
Yep.
And he realizes, okay, I'm not the only star of the show anymore.
So
But
it
I would.
it's funny you bring that up because I don't know if I said this, but I had a niece that was born back in April.
Mhm.
And she was born super early. She was born at 27 weeks.
Wow.
And she was a pound. 1 pound,
Wow.
10 ounces. She just got out of the hospital maybe a month ago, give or take. So
Wow.
she's home now. Looks like, she's a few months old, but is the size of a newborn.
Sure.
And when we got over there and we were finally able to see her and hold her, we weren't allowed in the hospital.
Right.
And when we got, she came home, we got over there to hold her. Tell you what, when my wife held baby Mackenzie, Lila, she just looking, just that look like, okay, I don't like this.
Right.
That's my mommy.
It's not gonna change. That's how. But the good thing is that she's a little bit older, and so because the baby, she'll start calling it my baby.
Yeah.
It'll make things a lot more fun for you guys.
Yep. So, all right. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, we have, as of right now, the 53-man roster is set. I think everybody who knows this knows that it is never going to be officially set no matter what. There's always going to be moves. And the Browns did make a move the very next day. I don't know if you saw that or not. So the initial cuts, and I'll go through room by room. In the QB room, one chosen Rosen was cut. Godspeed, Spider-Man. See you later, you asshole. I don't feel bad for him at all, especially with what he said pre-draft. The next cut, I'm gonna go back to the next room. This was, I don't want to call it a shocker per se.
No, it's not a shocker.
No, it's not okay. The one player they cut isn't a shock, but I'm surprised that there weren't other moves in the room. So in the running back room, the only person they cut was John Kelly. We already talked about it, that we saw the writing on the wall with John Kelly. Yeah. And I think if we didn't have the room that we did, he would have made this team. Yeah. He's a good player and he deserves to go play elsewhere. I don't know if he got picked up anywhere.
I don't know. I was going to look that up real quick.
I've got their practice squad pulled up, so I want to see. And John Kelly is not a part of the practice squad.
No, he is on the practice squad.
Oh, he is. He's the first name
5 hours
on there.
Ago. Yeah.
He is the first name on this list. I'm just blind as a bat.
Yep. So that's huge.
That is now again, I obviously I like having a guy like that on the practice squad, but I do hope that he goes somewhere else. I hope he gets a chance to play in this league. He deserves it. I think he's earned that.
He's good enough.
He is. I'm not shocked that they have Demetric Felton listed as a running back, but I think we both know that he's really not going to play a lot of running back as of right
No,
now.
he won't.
He's going to play a lot of receiver, and they listed him as a receiver or as a running back, I think also due to money. So during contract extensions or whatever, when those talks start years down the road, he's going to be listed as a running back and not a receiver, because I think we both know.
But that won't really matter. Look at the way that Alvin Kamara did his contract.
I
He
mean,
got paid more than a running back because he's a hybrid.
that is true, but I don't know. It's just something to think about. So we, as of right now, Kareem Hunt and D'Ernest Johnson are still on this football team. I wouldn't be shocked to see D'Ernest Johnson go. I expect Kareem Hunt to stay on this roster the entire year, because I was talking with my dad about this, and I didn't know this about Kareem Hunt, but apparently when they were shopping, they shopped him a little bit, but the only thing they were trying to get, the only thing they could get was a 5th round pick, and he is worth a little bit more than a 5th round pick.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Well, the problem with him is he's an aging running back in his contract year.
Yes.
So whatever team gets him, they're going to have to pay him. That's why they're not going to get a whole.
But the good thing is that next year I think he's a restricted free agent.
Okay.
So that whatever team signs him, the Browns get a compensatory 4th round pick.
If they sign him, yeah.
If another team signs him. So it just makes, and I think he will. He's the type of guy, he will get signed. Yeah. He's that good of a running back that if he walks in free agency or the Browns cut him, he will get signed, and he should.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a starting running back in this league. So it would make more sense to just wait a year and let him walk if a deal can't be reached.
Agreed.
So there we go. I think D'Ernest Johnson is on his way out. There's not a lot of room for him on this football team.
Right.
And that's sad, but I also hope he gets his chance. And I think a team like Atlanta might be interested in a guy like him. I know that Cordell Patterson had a good year when he switched to running back with Atlanta, but they've got an aging guy, and Cordell Patterson's not used to taking the hits like a running back takes. That is one of the most
in a row.
Exactly, and that's one of the most brutal positions in football.
Right. It
is up there, so I don't think he's going to be used to it. And this is also, my dad kind of brought all this up to me, and I'm like, yeah, it is kind of true. They do have a couple of they have a rookie as well, and you never know with rookies, they could be a standout, could just kind of falter. So that's a team to possibly watch out for with D'Ernest Johnson. He does deserve.
Everyone's been saying Philly too. That's a great spot.
Yep.
I mean the whole thing with Brian Robinson in Washington, they already demoted Antonio Gibson, and they were going to give the starting role to Brian Robinson, having what's his nuts, be the 3rd down back. I can't remember his name. Either way, Gibson was going to be pretty much a lost soul, but they could bring in Kareem and he could be an all-purpose back if they really wanted to, especially while waiting for Brian Robinson to get better. You think about a team like the Cardinals. Yeah, they got James Conner, but is James Conner going to hold it for the whole year?
Yeah,
there's a bunch of teams I could think of that could use Kareem Hunt.
I'm talking about D'Ernest Johnson, not Kareem Hunt.
Even D'Ernest Johnson.
Yeah, I think Kareem stays on this team.
I don't know.
All year, assuming they don't get a trade value that they're happy with.
Right.
But we'll see. I think the writing is on the wall for D'Ernest Johnson this year, unless they're playing because they got Jerome Ford. They drafted him for a reason.
Right.
So.
And he looked good too.
He did. So I think the writing's on the wall for both of those guys. Wish them well, but you put a gun to my head and say, which one would you rather have? I'd rather have Kareem.
Yeah.
So there you go. Moving on down, fullback Johnny Stanton was cut. I expected it. He's a good guy. Good football player, but when it comes down to it. It's just not there. I hope things work out for him, but I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be it for him.
Yeah,
Fullback,
they mentioned that was going to be it for him.
Fullback is a dying position, and it's a shame. All right, so let's go to the wide receiver room. There was one guy I was surprised that got cut as far as wide receivers. So right now they only have 5 active wide receivers on the roster. That's Amari Cooper, DPJ, David Bell, Michael Woods, and Stonehand Schwartz. I was a little shocked that Javon Wims, I don't know how you say that. Javon Wims. I was kind of shocked that he got cut. I think he had a good preseason, and it would have been nice for him to stay. I hope they add somebody to that room, because this is not a good wide receiver room at all. I mean, we did already say that Demetric Felton will be playing wide receiver. We know that for a fact. If they don't use him at wideout, then we have a problem. But I was shocked at Javon Wims. Jamarcus Bradley, he's been here for a few years, but it's just not there. Mike Harley Jr., Dalen Baldwin, Easop Winston, they all just
Baldwin and Harley are both in the practice squad.
There you go. Jamarcus Bradley didn't get added on the practice squad?
I didn't see his name.
No, he did not. All right. Well, there you go. Go to the tight end room. We're only keeping 2 tight ends. It was little shocking. I thought maybe they would want to add a third one, but that's, it is what it is. We got David Njoku and Harrison Bryant. Miller Forstall.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he was going to make the team.
He's practice squad.
Okay, well that's good.
I think it's more or less number of spots, because you kept Felton, and that's an extra wide receiver, and they kept an extra lineman. I think that's the main reason why they only had 2 tight ends right now.
There you go.
Probably to keep guys on the practice squad, make sure they make it through the year, and then try and sneak them onto the practice squad if they need to. One of the linemen, or maybe like a Jerome Ford or something. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but either way.
Gotcha. So obviously we saw Miller Forstall, Nakia Griffin-Stewart, and Zaire Mitchell-Payton. Those guys they were chopped off the block. Go on the O lineman. I'm not going to go through everybody we kept. Because it's a long list of who's there, but just know we cut Alex Taylor, David Moore, Brock Huffman, Ben Petrula, and hi, my name is Blake Hance. See you later. He was actually just claimed off waivers by the 49ers too.
Good for him.
So that's good that he was able to pick up somewhere. He didn't have a great preseason.
But he's versatile. That was the reason why a lot of people thought he'd make the team.
But you also got to think, like, when he came in, he only came in because Michael Dunn got hurt.
Right.
They had him ranked better, and I think Michael Dunn has produced a little bit better when healthy. Yeah. So it was one of those decisions you don't like to see him go, but it's kind of moves you got to make. Right. We'll move on to defensive line. Right now, who's been cut is Glenn Logan, Curtis Weaver, Roderick Perry, and Isaac Rochelle. He's a guy that we actually really, really, really liked. He
was cut today.
He was cut today, and he was cut to make room for Kellen Mond. He was a third-round pick from the Vikings in 2021, but it just didn't work for him there. And so he's going to be the third-string quarterback, backing up, obviously, Brissett and Dobbs. So, and he's also a developmental guy, because you never know. You never know. He could be pretty good. So Kellen Mond is the third string quarterback as of right now. And it's sad to see Isaac Rochelle go, because he did have a really good Really, really, really good preseason.
Yeah.
Another one from that D line room is that Chris Odom was put on injured reserve for blowing out his knee. That's a real shame. You know,
That
he
was
was,
a nasty injury too.
yeah,
You could tell right away when he wasn't getting up that it was
yep,
going to be his ACL.
yep. And, you know, he was the USFL
Defensive
MVP.
player. Yeah.
So it's a, it's a shame to see him go. I hope he gets healthy, and you know, we'll see what happens. And good
Yeah.
luck to Isaac Rochelle. Moving on.
And I kind of think that what they might try and do is sneak Kellen Mond onto the practice squad and maybe bring him back, or they try and sneak Kellen Mond onto the practice squad and they open up a roster spot for somebody else. Other thing that they can do is once they know that Jack can play week 1, is maybe try and sneak either Forbes or Dunn onto the practice squad and then open up a roster spot that way. Because I don't know if they're done. If they're, I mean, obviously we know this, but I don't think their roster's complete. The
No,
other rumor I've heard as far as tight ends go is OJ Howard,
I've heard that
which
rumor as
I'd
well.
be okay with that.
Yeah, that would be a good third tight end. You know, he's a veteran guy. He knows this league, and I'd be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to linebackers, only 2 cuts here. Willie Harvey, Dakota Allen, just, you know, they were camp guys, and you know, it's
And Dakota Allen was still in the practice squad.
there you go.
Which
Safety.
I don't know. Real quick before you go on,
Yeah.
have you ever watched Last Chance U?
I have not. I've heard good things
Okay.
about it,
First
but
of all, you need to watch it.
okay.
Second of all, Dakota Allen was on the last season that they had produced.
Really?
So just a little fun fact. Yeah, he went on to play at Texas Tech, and then he was with the Rams for a while. And then I didn't even realize who he was until I saw his face. I was like, I know that guy. I've seen him before. Sure enough, that's who it was.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Mm.
Well, and you said
Fun
he
fact.
is on the practice squad.
Practice squad.
Gotcha. Okay. Going to the safety room, we've got 5
Corners.
Okay, we can do corners first before safety.
Well, that's the way it's listed.
Oh, for me, it's the list I'm looking at is not.
Oh well, that's the order of the defense anyway. The safeties would be last, because they're very back into the defense.
Whatever.
Go with the corners.
No, it's fine. We'll
There's
go
no surprises.
No, we'll go. Yeah, no surprises with corners. So we kept 5 of them. We got Denzel, Greg Newsome, Greedy, AJ Green, and MJ Emerson. I keep saying Martin Emerson, but he goes by MJ.
Yeah.
So might be sorry, MJ. Although every time I say MJ, I want to say MJ Stewart
Or Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Either way.
I'm a Cavs fan. I don't like Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Still
the greatest of all time. I'm sorry.
I still don't like saying his name. Anyway, you're right. You're right. He is. The cuts were Sean Jolly, Lavert Hill. Sorry, Lavert Hill, and Herb Miller, who was us. He's on the practice squad.
So is Jolly.
Okay, there you go. Safety room. Nothing. I was kind of surprised to see Javante Moffett get cut. I thought maybe
there wasn't enough room.
I wasn't sure if they were going to keep D'Anthony Bell over him.
Oh yeah. Have you seen the camp that D'Anthony Bell's had?
That's true. That's true.
This kid, he's like Greg Newsome said it today in his presser. He's like, this kid earned a spot.
Okay.
He is the epitome of he earned a spot because of camp.
Okay. Well, there you go.
He played his ass off.
There you go.
From practice, he made plays. Preseason games, he made plays. Yeah, we were completely frozen. But either way.
Okay, I want to make sure we are live now.
I can see us again. Okay, I'm watching the stream. We're good.
Sure we are live. Okay, yep, we're good. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes my internet likes to be dumb. Yeah, my internet was very dumb there, so sorry about that. Let me see.
We were talking about the safeties. Like I said, D'Anthony Bell, I think definitely earned a spot. It was nice to see Richard LeCount get a spot. I kind of figured he would, being the draft pick from last year, and he also had a pretty nice camp too.
Yeah.
A couple nice plays he made in the preseason too. So
Yep. And a couple of those guys can also come down and play a little bit of corner in that in between role of safety and linebacker too. So it's nice to have guys like that who can do that. Special teams, nothing out of the ordinary. We knew it was going to be Cade York, who's had a great camp. He missed a couple, but like 50 plus in preseason games. I think we'll give him a little bit of a slide, you know.
You see the one in warmups?
Mm-hmm.
That one was like, holy shit. And that is the right word to use in that case.
Yep. It is nice to have a kicker again who we don't have to worry about. That is very nice. Punter Corey,
I think it's Bjorhez or something like that.
Bjorhez, something.
He's got a boot too.
Yeah. And then long snappers, Charlie Hewitt. He's been here for
ever.
Yeah. The only other long snapper I remember is Brian Pointbrand. Do you remember him? I remember that was the year 07 where we had 6 Pro Bowlers, and he was one of them. He was the Pro Bowler for the AFC. He was the long snapper for the AFC team. I remember that very well.
You know.
Anyway, so obviously we talk about Chris Odom goes to injured reserve, and the suspended list. Obviously, we know one Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll talk about we will kind of touch on the practice squad a little bit. We already went through some of the guys who have been on there. I'll run through it real quick. Got 12 people on the practice squad: John Kelly, Miller Forstall, Zaire Mitchell-Payton, Dalen Baldwin, Mike Harley, center Brock Hoffman, offensive tackle Alex Taylor, defensive tackle Roderick Perry, linebacker Dakota Allen, then the corner Sean Jolly, Herb Miller. I left out one name, and that is one David Moore. He was an offensive lineman.
Oh yeah, I heard saw this today.
Okay, so fun fact about David Moore: they cut offensive lineman David Moore, signed to the practice squad defensive lineman David Moore. They switched positions. I guess at one point, sometime in training camp, he had played scout team
since last year.
Oh, since last year?
Yeah, he was on the practice squad last year. Stefanski said that starting last year, they was kind of in the works.
Okay.
And then this year, the offensive linemen were talking about how strong he was, and same thing with the defensive lineman, just talking about how strong and physical he was. And then they mentioned to him about the move to D tackle, and he said, "Let's go."
Okay. Well, there you go. There you go. So a couple of guys I wanted to go over. There's a couple of guys that I think the Browns could look for in free agency that are available. I don't know how you would feel. I'll just name just a couple of them. I guess the one I really want to see, like we talked about, was OJ Howard. I wouldn't mind bringing him, but I'd like to see some sort of wide receiver. I know the guy Tyler Johnson got cut out of Tampa Bay. He was their 5th round pick, I think, of 2020. There we go. He's not bad, but he's capable, so I wouldn't mind seeing him available. What say you? So
if we're like, obviously, I think I'm on the same agreement with you. I want to see a wide receiver brought in. Greg Newsome said today in his press conference that people were talking about Anthony Schwartz, and he said he's a professional. This happens. He said, I've had stretches in my career where I let balls go over my head. I let passes get caught on me. I came back. I re-prepared myself. I was ready to go. He said Anthony Schwartz will be ready for. Now that gave me a little bit of confidence, but me personally, I think that we still need somebody in there. A name that I really like because of how reliable he's been through and how good he's been, no matter what team he's on, is Emmanuel Sanders.
And the problem with Emmanuel Sanders is, what does he have left in that tank?
I mean, he had 800 yards last year with the Bills.
That he did.
So, I mean, even if he doesn't have a whole lot left, we don't need him to be a number one. We don't even need him to be a number two. We need him to be a number 3 receiver. Play in the slot, play outside, let people rotate around. We need someone that can play outside to let Amari Cooper work the slot. We need someone that can be that outside guy if those guys need a break.
Yep.
Because here's the thing: if Amari Cooper goes down, we are in deep trouble. So having another player on the roster that we can trust to play outside is going to be huge.
Yep. Another name that has been thrown around, a wide receiver that I think people want to see, but I think if it was going to happen, it would have already happened by now, and that's Will Fuller. Obviously he's got a connection with Watson, but Watson's not playing the first 11 games. So we need to keep that in mind, number one. And again, I think if they were going to grab him, they would have already done it by now. And he's also got a little bit of issues. I mean, he was suspended last year. He missed some time for a personal issue, apparently. He broke his finger. So it's just...
He's been injury riddled too.
Exactly. And then there's another guy that I really don't want to talk about it, but I have to at this point.
Don't say it.
I'm only going to bring it up because of David Njoku. Did you not see what he tried to do?
That's not the one I'm thinking of.
Who were you thinking of?
I thought you were going to say Antonio Brown.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. I want nothing to do with him. I want nothing to do with Antonio Brown. No, that guy's never going to be on an NFL roster again. I think he done burned every bridge imaginable.
Did you see that he wanted people to come get him again?
Yep. And also, I've never forgiven him for what he did to Spencer Lanning. # justice for Spencer Lanning.
That was rough.
Yeah, it was a bad day for the brand that day. Bad day. That's what Pat McAfee said when he was talking about he got a bad day for the brand.
Yeah.
But the guy I'm going to talk about, and I don't really want to talk about it. I really don't. But I'm only going to because David Njoku has been recruiting him again. And that's OBJ. I guess they were playing some sort of game on your iPhone or whatever.
Yeah, you play pool on the iPhone.
Okay, see, I don't have an iPhone. I can't do that. So I guess they were playing something, and Njoku said, if I win, you consider coming to Cleveland. And and he said deal, and Njoku won. Whether that means anything or not is beyond me, and I doubt we'll ever see Odell Beckham in a Browns uniform again. But
So here's the thing with this whole recruiting Odell thing, and I don't know if you saw it. So last week there was a fan that said, Odell, you need to come back to New York so you can finally get that championship for the city. And he said, I missed New York. That was my home for so long, blah, blah, blah. I would consider it. And then Von Miller's been recruiting him, talking about come play with Buffalo. And then he said, and then OBJ said, you know what happened last time we did this. So, I mean, he's just keeping his options open. He's just being a social media mogul. That's all he's doing.
Yep. No, I only brought it up because of David Njoku. Otherwise, I'm not considering him an option. I mean, never say never. Anything is possible. But if I was
he's not going to be ready for week 1 anyway.
Exactly. If I was a betting man, I would say Odell is not going to be a member of the Cleveland Browns ever again. So, I want to move on. I want to talk about, and the only reason I want to bring this up is because he's made headlines again, and he's running his cocksucker, which is fine. He's allowed to do that. He's not on the team anymore. But he's adding fuel to a fire that is already big. Baker Mayfield is in the fucking headlines again because apparently he said something to a Buffalo sideline reporter. I guess the sideline reporter, and this chick, she's an idiot and I'll get into why I think she's an idiot. I guess she said something like, "You ready for week 1? I'm gonna be rooting for you," or whatever. And he said, "I'm gonna fuck them up." This was already a big game.
Yeah.
This was definitely a big game. But what Baker did, now he's also, I do want to say this. He said that this was not true. He did not say that. That is up to you to believe whether or not that is true. I don't believe it for a second. I think he did say that. That is in his character to say something like that. And I'm not sitting here saying what he did was wrong. Because obviously you're going to want to beat your former team.
Yeah.
I get that. Trust me, I get that. The first game that Watson is coming back for is against Houston. You don't think he wants to go out there and fuck them up? Like, I would want to. I would want to do that. So I'm not saying that Baker is wrong here, but he just added a lot of pressure to that Panthers team and a lot of pressure on the Browns.
Yeah.
He really did. He added a lot of pressure to this matchup. And this game was already on fire, okay?
Right.
He just took a forest fire, like a contained forest fire, and said, "Hey, I'm going to dump 100 gallons of gasoline on it and see what happens." That's what Baker Mayfield just did.
Agreed.
And if the Browns, especially that defensive line room, wasn't motivated enough, they just got some little extra motivation. And
for sure.
Myles Garrett actually spoke about that. He said, "We've known that he's had this type of demeanor and that attitude, and for better or for worse, it works for him. And I'm not mad at him using that fire and that chip on his shoulder to help him play to the level he has. He's been successful in what he's done." But he goes, "But it does the same thing for us as well. We'll take it and we'll use it. And I'm hoping for a great matchup." And he went on saying, "I don't think of him any less going out there and doing the same thing, blah, 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 blah." But, you know, it's just something extra to this game. How do you feel about it?
I first of all, before I get into it, I think it's probably the funniest thing ever, seeing the heel turn in your eyes for one Baker, Rig, and Mayfield. You went from 2 months ago being he's the greatest thing since sliced
That's
bread.
not true. That's not true.
To today, you're saying I'm gonna fuck him up. But as far as Baker goes,
it's funny you
like
brought up heel turns because I know a particular person that has also made a dramatic heel turn on Baker Mayfield.
Go ahead and say that before I get into mine.
No, I'm just going to say I know some people out there who was very, 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 very critical of Baker last year, and now it's okay. I can't wait till he comes out there. There's a bunch of people that have been doing that, and it's a little ridiculous.
But anyway, point being, I'm not surprised by it. I think it's funny. I think the fact that he walked it back as fast as he did, I think is the even funnier part.
I think he probably had a talking to.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely Matt Rule and them coming to him saying, "Put this fire out now, or maybe we'll consider starting Sam."
Is Sam capable of playing?
I thought so.
I mean, he got hurt in that last preseason game.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's out. I don't know.
He got carded. He got carded off. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how bad he's hurt, but anyway.
Point being is, I am not surprised by it. It doesn't really bother me. I think it's funny. I think it's stupid to try and give a team that doesn't need the bulletin board material.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I am of the belief that, excuse me, if you have to have a reason to get excited and you're professional, then you're doing in the wrong business. But
I
I'm
agree.
also under the belief of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know, kind of like obviously I know that this is not a college football show, but the Notre Dame game versus Ohio State Saturday. If I am Notre Dame, I am coming into that game as motivated as I possibly could be. You are ranked number 5 in the nation. They have them as a 17.5-point underdog.
Yeah.
If you are not motivated for that game after seeing that playing in Columbus Saturday night at 7 o'clock, prime time TV, week 1, like you'll never be motivated again.
It's one of the rare times I'll be rooting for Notre Dame.
You're allowed to. That's fine.
I was about to say,
Who did
like,
you guys play week 1? Appalachian State again? Too. I'm sorry. Oh, you ran right into that one.
yeah.
I actually just saw a highlight on Twitter the other day, and I laughed so hard at it. It made me laugh again. Like,
That was let me tell you, that was a real bad day. I was watching that game and I thought, you gotta be shitting me. Like,
that was there's no way this is happening.
When
this is not happening.
I had to go to
oh
school.
My God, it's happening.
When I went to school that Monday, do you know how much shit I took?
Oh yeah.
That was a real bad day. And by the way, we played Colorado State. So
that's your guys' first game of the year?
Yes.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be like Northwestern Chapel State University, like Alabama's probably playing.
It could be playing ITT Tech.
Yeah, it's probably who Alabama's playing.
Honestly, Michigan's schedule this year is pretty much a cakewalk.
No way. I'm sorry. Did I say something?
You're a real dickhead. I want you to know that.
I didn't say anything.
You know, you're a real dickhead. You got a lot of room to talk. Ohio State's had some cakewalk schedules for a while.
Yeah, but look what they've had the last 2 years.
That's why I said for a while.
Look what they have upcoming too.
That's why I said for a while. Calm down, relax. Good Lord Almighty.
Oh, there you go. Alabama plays Utah State.
Utah State. Let's go.
I guess aren't they in the Pac-12?
I don't know.
I think they're in a decent conference, I think.
Yeah, but it don't matter.
Alabama's a 42-point favorite.
There you go. I mean, Tennessee's in the SEC. Do you expect them to do anything? Probably not. What about Florida? Probably not.
Didn't Tennessee have one of the top recruits in the country? If not, it's coming out next year.
That honestly, I don't. I think so. I think I know who you're talking about.
They have some kid coming out of high school. If it's not this year, it's next year. Oh yeah, never mind. Our week 2 game is cakewalk. We play Arkansas State.
You sure you don't want to play DeVry University?
Hey, listen, I don't know who Arkansas State is, but you guys play Hawaii.
Hey, with Colt Brennan back there, Hawaii was something. R.I.P. Colt Brennan.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Yeah, it was sad that he died. It was sad. But moving on. So I think we've touched on quite a bit today. We kind of ran through it a little bit faster than I expected. So it said week 1's going to be a fight. It's going to be an absolute fight. It's going to be a fight to the death, I think. This is kind of be our little sneak peek at it, if you will. We're definitely going to get more in depth come next week. Next week's going to be, it's going to be a fun show. Exciting week. It's just excited. Football's back. Number 1.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I hope Jacoby Brissett looks better than what he did in that last preseason game. It is only preseason, so everybody has to keep that in mind. No, not every starter.
No Mark Cooper.
Yep. Yep.
No DPJ, no Kareem Hunt.
Yep. Hopefully they get the rust knocked off and we can get back in there and make something happen because damn, he did not look good that preseason game. Also,
I wouldn't say he looked bad. I just say he didn't look good. The offense was stale.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Also learned something about our second string quarterback, Josh Dobbs. Did you know?
Rocket scientist?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a guy.
I knew they're coming out of college.
Works for NASA.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And it's like, can you imagine? Like, this dude's now making like millions of dollars, and then when he's not playing football, he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go to NASA. I'm just gonna go work for them and be a rocket scientist." I'm like, I mean, that's just kind of cool, you know.
You see the news about Miles?
About Miles? No, I did not.
So he was nominated as an ambassador for the Cleveland Science Natural History Museum.
Really?
Yeah. So that was last week that he got nominated for that. So it's kind of cool. So he's obviously his big thing is paleontology and dinosaurs. So it's get to hopefully further grow the science and natural history just museum in general, and then also try and help more kids get into it because. I'll tell you, if you have never been, our museum is really cool.
You talking about Cincinnati's?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I've been multiple times.
They actually just got done with their Pixar exhibit. That was really cool.
I didn't get a chance to see that. I wanted to, but it just didn't quite work out. I'm a big history guy. I love history. Like a few years ago for Father's Day, we drove up to Columbus, and I went to like the Ohio Museum.
Okay.
And I was so excited just to go there and look at everything and like learn everything about Ohio. Like that was really cool for me. And they had old timey baseball there.
Oh, that'd be
I'm
cool.
not talking about like 1930s baseball. I'm talking about like 1800s baseball.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it is pretty freaking cool.
Speaking of old baseball and being like a history guy,
yeah.
If you ever get the chance and you go down to Louisville, go and see the Louisville Slugging.
Ooh, that would be cool. It is
really, really, really cool. Baseball head. I was amazed at some of the cool. I mean, you get to see how the bats are made, what the bats look like back then, what they look like now. They had a lot of the actual bats that were used by those guys back in the day. A cool thing that would kind of always be a momentum for us. We got Noah a mini bat, so they're probably about this big, and it has his name on it and when we got it, and it was from the actual factory where they make the bats at.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, really, really cool.
In other news, Guardians have a chance to lock up the AL Central.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is saying something. That is saying something. Everybody, it was kind of funny to see all the people who were totally against the name change to now, they're actually a pretty good baseball team. They're like, oh shit, hang on. I'll wear some Guardian stuff.
Right.
And that was me. Like I understood the name change. I understood it, and maybe it was time for it. But am I going to give up my fandom over a name change? No, I'm not. Not now, not ever.
Their name, would you root for them?
Wait, what?
If the Browns changed their name, would you root for them?
No, because our team's not a racist name. I mean, I guess in the end I would. If it still had the word Cleveland in front of it, then yes, I would still be a fan. But I would be against it because our team name, we're named after Paul Brown. Like if it was a little bit different, like if I was a Washington fan, I mean, I'd have been like, yeah, let's change that name. It's a little ridiculous. And the fact that it took him that long to do it was, it was pretty crazy to me, but, all right, guys. So you got anything else you want to add today, Mienko?
No, I'll save it mostly for next week.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, guys, that's going to be it for this week's show. Make sure we come back next week because, again, it is week 1. We're going to go in depth with the game. We're going to talk about a lot of things about this matchup. And hopefully, we walk out of there with a win. So, we'll see. But, again, this has been Load the Box Browns, brought to you by Unified Athletic Wear. My name is Chris Faxitas. That is Eric Mienko, and we will see you next time. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Ooh, ooh.